starts the second part of Monday Night in Prophecy. It is the day-to-day report of what is happening in the world this past month. And so this is end time news around the world, and we start with our little introductory video. And that brings us to Tuesday, the 1st of August of this year. The Kerch Bridge between the Taman Peninsula of Krasnodar of the Crimea was attacked again by the Ukraine. So there is a bridge connection between Russia and the Crimea that belongs to the Ukraine, or did belong to it. And for the second or third time, there was an attack on that bridge, damaging it quite a bit, but you know, as always, it's quickly repaired. So that was Tuesday the 1st. Wednesday the 2nd of August, Turkey hosts talks in Ankara between the PA and Hamas. So the Palestinian Authority, which operates in Gaza, and Hamas, which also operates in Gaza and fighting against each other, Turkey, Erdogan, the president, tries to communicate and bring peace. So let's go ahead and watch that.
Turkish President Erdogan held Palestinian unity talks in Ankara. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and Hamas terrorist ruler in Gaza, Ismail Haniyeh, met in what was billed as the promotion of united resistance to the so-called Israeli occupation. ILTV Steve Leibovich reports.
Turkish President Erdogan's meeting with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was no surprise. It was announced in advance and was due to precede a visit by Prime Minister Netanyahu, perhaps a step toward Israeli-Palestinian reconciliation. But Netanyahu canceled his trip to Ankara due to his heart problems and the judicial reform fallout. Enter Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas ruler in Gaza. After the initial meeting, Abbas and Haniyeh held private talks with Erdogan in his presidential palace. It was the first meeting between Abbas and Haniyeh since July 2022, when the two met in Algeria. Then they talked about achieving unity, but failed to make any progress. The meeting was described by Palestinian participants as promoting comprehensive resistance as the most effective way to confront the so-called Israeli occupation and the dangers facing the Palestinian cause.
And that brings us to Thursday, the 3rd of August. It's 2023, and yet sounds like words from the Wannsee Conference in Wannsee, Germany, in January of 1942. As you know, that's where Hitler met with the leadership and discussed how to kill the Jews. That was at Wannsee, or in Germany you would pronounce it Wannsee. That was January of 1942. Nasrallah is the leader of the Hezbollah party in Lebanon, and this is what he had to say. Middle East will not rest until cancerous Israel is removed. Cancerous Israel is removed. Those are the words. He would have fit right into that meeting back in 1942, wouldn't it? Friday the 4th of August. In approximately 18 months, Israel is expected to deploy the world's first laser defense system on borders that have Iranian-backed terrorist armies on the other side. Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria all made good candidates for the Rafale advanced defense system Iron Beam, which has been in development for nearly 20 years. The laser system will be integrated directly into the Rafael-made Iron Dome air defense batteries, which have been in operation since 2011. And so the Iron Dome will then include this new type of development with the beam. And it will be very effective and very worthwhile price-wise, very inexpensive. Saturday, the 5th of August, the sculpture of Judensau, which means Jewsau, adorns the facade of the town church in Wittenberg, also known as the Stadtkirche. It has been there for over 700 years, remaining despite multiple attempts to remove it. So it puts the Jews down to the level of a pig, and you have little Jews sucking on this mother pig, and it's a shameful thing. And yet the church in Wittenberg will not remove it. On top of it, it was Luther, Martin Luther, who preached in that church. Of course, Martin Luther did not like the Jews either. But this is a shameful thing, and it should be removed. It should have been removed hundreds of years ago. Sunday, the 6th of August. US-Saudi deal sets path to normalize ties with Israel. Officials are now hammering out the details of the deal they hope to cement in the next 9 to 12 months, though many obstacles remain. So they're working on it, and Saudi Arabia is actually ready, pretty well ready to start dealing with Israel. It's the US that puts up all those roadblocks and conditions. So we'll see how that continues. Monday the 7th of August. Poland will send an additional 2,000 troops to reinforce its eastern border with neighboring Belarus. Belarus and potential dangers posed by the Wagner mercenary group based there. Of course, that all happened before the leader of Wagner rebelled against Russia and eventually was killed. So now, as far as I know, most of the Wagner people have left Belarus, although I'm not so sure of that either. So time will tell, but anyways, Poland says we're going to reinforce our border. We're not going to take that risk. Tuesday the 8th, the military junta in Niger says, today at 6 a.m. French fighter jets violated Niger's airspace and attacked a position of the Nigerian Presidential Guard, the body from which the leader of the coup in Niger came out. So there was a coup in Niger, and this military leader took over, and France says, you know, they were connected to Niger for hundreds of years, and so they said, we want to get back, and we want to have Niger back as our friend and get rid of this guy who took over by force. We'll see how that develops. Wednesday the 9th. Disney loses 10 million subscribers in second quarter. Due to heavy censorship by Google, we recommend that you watch today's special update on Twitter. And this is by Amir Tsarfati. He is basically saying because of the stand of Disney, which is very against children, really, anti-children, they are losing subscribers by the millions. Thursday the 10th. A delivery and flag-raising ceremony took place on Tuesday at the Pascagoula shipyard in Mississippi, led by senior IDF officers and officials in the procurement delegation of the Ministry of Defense. An Israeli flag was raised on the US-built INS Nashorn, while the national anthem Hativga was played. And I want you to take a look at what that sounded like.
The transition between the US and Israeli flag that will take place is yet another statement of the strong bond between our nations. Today the IDF will receive INS Nashorn, which will not only help us achieve our goal, the protection of the state of Israel and its people, but will help us maintain our naval superiority over the next decade.
Friday the 11th of August. The enemy needs to understand that when it comes to Israel's security, we are all united. The Defense Ministry warns the terror group. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant toured Israel's northern border, where he assessed the situation in the Mount Dov area near Lebanon. And so that's where the danger would come from. That's where Hezbollah is located. And if anywhere, that's where it would come from. And so he's up there and checks out the border to see what the situation looks like and says, don't misunderstand Israel. We are united when it comes to wartime. Saturday, the 12th of August, Israeli authorities intercepted 10 reconnaissance drones that were being smuggled into Gaza. The ministry said it suspected that the drones were being delivered to Gaza terror groups. According to the ministry, the drones were hidden inside a bag on the minibus of the Erez border crossing. How about that? They found it. Next one, to protect, and that's on the same day, to protect dignity of homosexuals, court must exclude Bible tweet from freedom of expression, Finland prosecutor argues. A member of Finland's parliament will appear in the court later this month, again facing hate speech charges for a tweet citing Bible verses. The prosecution claimed that the court failed to fully perceive and understand the degrading and dehumanizing message against homosexualities. And so the Bible contains hate speech. So no more Bible when it comes to talking about the freedom of expression and homosexuality. And they're charging this former member of the Finland parliament. How about that? Saturday, the 12th of August. End-time events are mounting. Natural disasters. I have now a series of short little videos that are talking about the gigantic events that are happening around the world. And so the first one here is going to be the floods in China, natural disaster. So let's look at all of them. The first one here, let's go ahead. Here's the next end-time event that's mounting. Disasters. Gigantic fires in Hawaii, as we all have seen. So we'll go ahead and watch this short video as well.
Jesus, please help us.
This morning, as new videos show the inferno that engulfed Lahaina and how residents spent hours in the ocean to survive, anger is growing. How did the nation's deadliest wildfire happen with no warning?
Did you get any type of alert?
No.
73-year-old Elizabeth Kahani, a grandmother, says she was so scared when she escaped, she didn't realize her face and arm were burned. Firefighters rescued her, treating her wounds, but her brother, Rodolfo Rocutan, is still missing. She's pleading for any word from him.
I'm so worried about everybody. Hopefully, you're still alive.
The search for the missing and dead is just getting started. Canine cadaver dogs arriving over the weekend and police announcing just 3% of Lahaina has been searched.
Are you saying we're just at the beginning of this disaster?
So for the first few days, we had done searches in the streets and the cars that were in the area, but we couldn't enter any structures. I know everybody, what's that final number? It's going to take us a while to get there.
More than 2,700 structures have been destroyed, most of them homes. Residents desperate to get back.
They're not moving fast enough.
Yeah, they're not.
It's been too long. It's been 6 days.
The King family lost their homes. Their kids rescued by their friend and neighbor, Rafa Ochoa. They are all staying together with friends. 3 families under one roof. And he's angry at local leaders.
Where were you guys? No? Where were you guys to try and get us out, evacuate us? No? We're mad. We're mad. No, we didn't just lose our homes. We lost our town.
The cause of the blaze is still under investigation. Videos shot from the water show both how bad the fire was, but also how strong the wind was blowing.
We're in the ocean.
19-year-old Noah Tompkinson and his 13-year-old brother Milo spent hours in the water, along with their mother, escaping the flames.
It's gonna be okay. It's all right.
At one point, their mother started to get cold.
We kind of like all huddled around her and just wanted to like keep her warm.
Has your mom talked to you guys and thanked you for being by her side?
We didn't save her, she also saved us. If any of us were alone, I don't know if we would have made it.
White smoke starting to come, which means...
End time event number 3. Natural disasters, crop failure. You might not be familiar with that one. Let's go ahead and watch that one.
U.S. Midwest is currently seeing some of the year's hottest temperatures. This heat, combined with the moisture deficit we've seen across the corn and soybean production areas, increase the potential that the upcoming crop is getting smaller by the day. As of late July, approximately 55% of the U.S. corn production and 50% of the U.S. bean production were in drought conditions. Corn is susceptible to yield loss due to the stress from production stage through the R5 dent production stage. Research suggests that approximately 3 to 9% of the yield potential can be lost daily during this period. As of July 23rd, 68% of the corn crop was silking. The lack of moisture and extreme heat causes the soybean plant to drop blooms and abort pods. As of July 23rd, 35% of the U.S. crop was setting pods. Smaller and fewer pods are also a common result of soybean plants.
Another end time event, natural disasters, unusual rare weather. Hurricane Hillary and others are very, very unusual. So we're going to go ahead and watch that.
There's no people in here.
J.D. Farag recently showed a picture on his presentation of all the fires that are happening at this present time in the world, around the world. We don't hear much about it unless it's extreme, but it's happening. And there's a map of all of those that are going on right now. End-time events are mounting. Now we come to man-made disasters. The first one we're going to watch is war. Look at the city in the Ukraine that is affected by the war. Unbelievable. Let's go ahead and watch it. End-time event, man-made disasters. Let's look at famines. Famines are going on in the world. We just don't hear much about it, but they are real. Let's go ahead and see that report.
It's brought rising food prices, malnutrition, and the potential for much, much worse.
It threatens to tip tens of millions of people over the edge into mass hunger and famine.
Until recently, global hunger was in decline. But since 2014, it's been rising. Over the past 2 years, the number of people without regular access to food has more than doubled. Some 800 million people already go to bed hungry every night. And now, the world's food system has been hit with a perfect storm.
2022 was already looking like a terrible year for global hunger, as COVID still continued to grip some parts of the food supply chain worldwide. You had a series of bad harvests in recent years because of climate change. This all disrupted food production.
Those two shocks, climate change and the pandemic, have meant that, according to one estimate, global supply of wheat, one of the world's most important carbohydrates, has fallen for the first time in 4 years.
And then the war happened.
Ukraine's food exports all but stopped, trapping around 25 million tons of corn and wheat inside the country, equivalent to the annual consumption of all of the world's least developed economies.
Ukraine's food exports are hugely important to the global food supply. It's a big powerhouse in terms of grain production. It's one of the world breadbaskets.
And with that breadbasket off the market, prices rocketed.
End-time events are mounting, man-made disasters. Let's look at the drug scene, especially here in America and Europe as well.
San Francisco is one of the richest cities in the world. But below its gleaming buildings lies a humanitarian disaster.
We have had, more overdose deaths in 1 year than we did of COVID deaths in our city.
Every day, on average, 2 people die from a drugs overdose here. In December, Mayor London Breed called for a state of emergency in a notorious district called the Tenderloin.
Pow! Pow! Get me off camera!
We've been told it's simply too dangerous to bring our cameras here, so we are filming on our phones.
Black market. Artie works for a charity called Urban Alchemy.
There is a lot of open drug use. I mean, it just happened literally right now, right here.
Urban Alchemy aims to get drug dealers off the street and helps addicts find a way to drug services.
Good morning, good morning. You okay? We about to come through and clean up, okay? Who all want coffee? Let's go. How you doing, brother?
We immediately came across a street with so many people doing fentanyl, it was hard to get by.
Could I ask what you're smoking, sir?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
The local drug dealers had delivered the fentanyl about half an hour before we arrived. Some were openly taking it on the street, seemingly unworried about the police.
There you go. There you go.
Seeing this firsthand is pretty shocking.
He trying to make it up. There you go. Got it, bro? You got it, bro?
Fentanyl was developed as a pain medication. Its use as a recreational drug, though, has exploded due to its low cost. It's 100 times stronger than morphine, and even a tiny quantity can kill.
Yeah, this is like this every day. And you think it's...
There's evidence of drug use everywhere.
There go one that's been used, 2, 3, these are pulled out of needles.
As we were filming, a woman approached us.
Do you guys know where we can get any free tents at around here?
Free tents?
Beth and her partner Jay have been in San Francisco for a year.
So are you doing fentanyl like today or?
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like living here?
Lawless. Completely lawless. This is anarchy.
In December, the Democrat mayor of San Francisco made a spectacular U-turn on previous progressive policies. She had advocated defunding the police. Now she was refunding them. More aggressive policies on law and order.
It is time for it to come to an end. And it comes to an end when we take the steps to be more aggressive with law enforcement.
End-time events are mounting. Man-made disasters, illegal immigration. Let's go ahead and watch that.
Food and water for migrants in Midtown Manhattan, in what is becoming a familiar sight in New York City. Since late July, thousands of migrants have been bused from Texas to New York and other U.S. states. With shelters full, migrants are sleeping outside of the Roosevelt Hotel, a processing center for the city's shelters. Jean Carlos Vasquez is a migrant from Venezuela.
It's been a few hours since I arrived. They gave me water, some apples, and other food. But no one has answered any questions I had. They just gave me a ticket with my number in line. No idea how long I'll have to wait.
Migrants mostly come from Africa and Latin America. Most of them don't speak English and don't know what to do, as many were told at the border they'll get shelter in New York. Natalia and Maxim Subotiny are from Russia. They hope to get political asylum in the U.S. After having spent 3 months in Mexico, they made it to New York.
At the Roosevelt Hotel, they told us, "Come here tonight. You'll have a room to sleep in. You won't sleep in the street." Yet the line doesn't move at all. So I don't know how long we'll be here.
New York authorities say about 90,000 migrants have arrived.
End-time events are mounting. Man-made disasters. Lawlessness. Let's watch that.
The latest on the search for suspects after a flash mob stole nearly $100,000 of merchandise from a Nordstrom in California. Kana Whitworth is outside the mall where it happened in Los Angeles. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, Robin, good morning. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass calling this unacceptable, yet these flash mob style robberies are becoming more and more frequent, especially at stores like this that carry that high-end merchandise. So authorities are now looking for at least 30 suspects who rushed into this Nordstrom over the weekend wearing hoodies and masks, taking up to $100,000 worth of merchandise in minutes. A security guard had to be treated after being sprayed with something like mace or bear spray, according to authorities. And just a few days prior, some $300,000 worth of luxury goods in nearby Glendale, California, stolen in that same flash mob fashion. The police chief there says we can expect to see an elevated police presence in the area.
We read in Matthew 24:6-8, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen. But the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of the birth pains." Tuesday, 15th of August. Kiryat Gat industrial zone, prior to the laying off of a water pipe, discovered a 5,500-year gate. The oldest such structure ever found in Israel. The Israeli Antiquities Authority announced. So they find this gate that goes back to a time before the flood. Unbelievable. And I guess it made it through the flood. And there it is on the picture. And just incredible what they find in Israel. Wednesday, the 16th of August. A group of advocates, including rabbis and a farmer, Knesset member, has submitted an official request to Itamar Ben-Gvir, Israel's Minister of National Security, asking for permission to blow the shofar on the Temple Mount on the Holy of Rosh Hashanah next month. I would be surprised if he gets permission to do that. So far, it's always in front of the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall. That's where they blow the trumpet for 2 days and end with the final trumpet or the last trump, which is on the final day, 100 trumps. But the last one, the guy blows the shofar just as long as he has breath. And that's called the last trump. Thursday, the 17th of August, Iran once again tried to intimidate American fleets going through the Strait of Hormuz. Let's go ahead and watch that.
Let's take you overseas now. New video showing Iranian speedboats and drones trailing and harassing U.S. warships in the Persian Gulf. This new footage appears to show them threatening to open fire on an American helicopter if it flew into Iranian airspace. This comes during rising maritime tensions between Washington and Tehran. Earlier this month, the U.S. military said it was considering putting armed guards on commercial ships in the area in response to a spike in Iran seizing and harassing boats.
Friday, the 18th of August. Massive floods in Honduras. Just another little video that shows you what's happening in Honduras, among many places all over Europe, Africa, South America, floods everywhere. Here's another one. Saturday the 19th, monsoon flooding in India. Let's go ahead and watch that one. Sunday the 20th of August. The newest Israeli submarine was just delivered from Germany to Israel, and it is amazing, high-tech, atom bomb ready. There's a little video I want you to see. Monday the 21st of August. The Syrian lira loses 60% of its value in less than a month and a half. trading today at a rate of about 16,000 Syrian liras to the US dollar. The same problem that's happening in Lebanon with the entire nation going down in their economy is now happening in Syria in big ways. And so that spells trouble. In fact, that is always a way of asking, let's have war to bring us back. And so it's a very dangerous situation. Tuesday the 22nd, Lebanon. There's no electricity. The Beirut airport is currently running on a generator. The Electricity Authority of Lebanon announces this evening that the Azarani and Dil Amar power stations have caused operations due to financial debts of the company that operates the station. And so they are shutting down. No more electricity. They can't pay their bills. And it's only a matter of time until the oil will run out for the generators, and then they too will shut down and the airport will be in darkness. Wednesday, the 23rd of August. Israel welcomes 215 new immigrants from US and Canada. A special charter flight by El Al landed in Israel on Wednesday morning with 215 new immigrants from the US and Canada on board. And so this is happening again and again, almost on a daily basis from all over the world. The Israelis are returning back to their home country, and that is amazing. Thursday, the 24th of August. Massive flash floods in Luzern, South Tyrol. Again, that's in Italy. I want you to go ahead and watch that. Friday, the 25th of August. Pray for Kelowna in BC. That's British Columbia, Canada. There's an uncontrolled fire. But it's not just that one fire. The fires are all over the place up there. In fact, there's 600 fires going right now in Alberta. And so half of the world is flooded and the other half is burning. It's unbelievable. There is the map, and there you see where Kelowna is located in the middle of British Columbia. There are violent storms in Venezuela. Once again, let's go ahead and watch.
On August 25th, the Venezuelan capital was hit by severe weather. The bad weather caused alarm among the people of Caracas regarding the risk of natural disasters.
The stepped remains of the ancient Siloam Pool, and I'm on Saturday the 26th, long thought to be located elsewhere, were uncovered near the city of David. According to the Gospel of John, it was at this sacred Christian site that Jesus healed the blind man. Now, they discovered those steps back already in 2004, but now they are in a process of digging out. They bought the land, and now they're digging it out to see if they can find the entire pool as it comes to sight. So let's go ahead and watch this little video.
You know, one of the most amazing stories in the Bible is when Jesus sent a blind man to wash in the pool of Siloam. One of the most amazing stories from recent history when it comes to archaeology is that the Pool of Siloam has been found. I remember coming out of Hezekiah's Tunnel in 2005, and a friend of mine showed me the first few stones of the Pool of Siloam. You couldn't see anything. I couldn't see it. I just had to go, okay, it's a few stones. He said, no, it's the Pool of Siloam. We came back a couple of years later. Several steps had been excavated, and you could see more of the pool. And as the years have gone by, more and more of the pool up to a certain point has been excavated. In January, excavations expanded. Finally, some property was purchased, and now the noise you hear all around me, well, that's the Pool of Siloam coming back to life.
Okay, well, actually, we are at the Pool of Siloam. That's the place where Jesus healed the blind man, which is face and eyes of the Bible in John chapter 9. This is the place where thousands of Jewish people, they used to come and baptize themselves here during the theology of the year, Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot. This is found recently in October 2004. What you see just today is part of the Pool of Siloam, and you can see that corner over there, and there's another corner over there, and there's another corner over here. So we have 5 steps and the flat, 5 steps at the flat, and another 5 steps we'll see the bottom of the Pool of Siloam. Now this garden was full 3 months ago with trees, olive trees and fig trees and this, and used to be for the Greek Orthodox. They bought the land over here, and now they are planning to dig the rest of the Pool of Siloam. One day we will clean all of the dirt what you see over here, and it will be full with water as it was before 2,000 years. And people come here and touch the water, because again we said about the blind man, which is in the Bible, John chapter 9. So people, they love here to touch the water. Today the water goes by the bedrock over here. It filled the King's Garden. If we dug the whole side of the Pool of Siloam, so the pool will fill with water as it was before 2,000 years. So I think in 2 years it will be done over here.
Sunday, the 27th of August. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday evening called to congratulate his Indian counterpart, Narendra Modi, on the country's successful moon landing. India's Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft landed on the lunar South Pole. And so although this is a picture that happened actually a few years ago, that was a phone call, and Benjamin Netanyahu congratulated the leader of India for this incredible accomplishment, and it sure is. Monday the 28th. The audience wildly cheered the former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador who defended US aid to Israel in the recent debate. And she defended that we need Israel as much as Israel needs the states, and we need to continue to support them as much as we can. Tuesday the 29th, the newest, most advanced military plane of Israel. Incredible. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Set the stage for a major breakthrough as Israel Aerospace Industries proudly unveiled its cutting-edge surveillance aircraft known as the Mars 2. This achievement marks a substantial advancement in the aircraft's testing and development program. This aerial marvel holds the potential to revolutionize surveillance efforts along Israel's borders, including countries like Syria, and even extend its reach to more distant nations like Iran. The Directorate of Defense Research and Development of the ministry emphasized the Mars 2's significance by proclaiming it as the most advanced aircraft of its kind globally. However, concrete deployment timelines remain elusive, hinting that it might take several months before the aircraft becomes operational. The roots of Mars 2's technological supremacy trace back to 2015, highlighting the extensive research and development invested in its creation. Test flights have already commenced, culminating in a grand ceremony celebrating the successful integration of intelligence systems into the aircraft. Boasting 8 intelligence collection operator workstations, multi-domain sensors, and an advanced artificial intelligence system.
Wednesday the 30th of August. Archaeologists uncovered a 30-meter portion of a Second Temple period aqueduct in Jerusalem, the longest such continuous stretch ever found in the city. The aqueduct, known as the Upper Aqueduct, brought water to the upper city, the area of the old city's current Jewish and Armenian quarters. Meanwhile, the so-called lower aqueduct transferred water directly to the temple. And that is of great importance because, as you know, back in the days of the temple and the many animal sacrifices, there was blood flowing, and so they needed lots and lots of water. And so for years they said, oh, that couldn't have been a temple because there's no water. Wrong. They now finally find the aqueduct that brings that water all the way to the top of the Temple Mount. Amazing, isn't it? How over time the things that are found in the earth confirm again and again and again that the Bible is the Word of God, and we can trust it, and we can trust also the prophecies of the Word of God, because they are being fulfilled even as we speak. 100% of the time they are correct. Wednesday the 30th. Greek police arrested dozens of arsons as EU's largest ever wildfires rages across Greece. The death toll from the wildfires across the country rose to 21 as Greek firefighters struggle to contain multiple blazes. So once again, you don't hear about it. Why don't we hear about this on television? Here is the greatest ever EU wildfire, and you don't even hear about it. Why? Because there are so many, and it's just not that interesting any longer. But to us it is, because it proves that there are going to be horrendous things happening around the world as we get close to the rapture. So we ask the question, what in the world is going on? The question is, do you notice the increase of worldwide catastrophes? Do you notice it? Do you see what's happening? Another question, do you think the birth pains have started? I believe they have. I believe we're in the beginning of the birth pains, and they're just going to get stronger and stronger. In Matthew 24, verse 7 and 8, we read, nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. And by the way, there were a number of earthquakes again, large ones, this month. We just ran out of time and space to record those because there are just too many to mention them all. And again, you don't find it in the news. Luke 21:23 says this, for there will be great distress upon the earth and wrath against this people. Now this particular verse is talking about the 7 years tribulation. But we are building up to it. That's what's happening right now. We're building up to the 7 years of tribulation. And by the time it starts, it'll be so bad and so horrible. And there's really something else that I need to mention just as we close. That could include persecution of the Christians. Are you ready for that? Do you realize that that can happen? And it's already happened in certain parts of the world. Canada. You can't preach anymore on certain portions of the Bible. You'd be arrested. You can't preach on the streets anymore. You'd be arrested. There are certain things where we are fastly approaching the end of the world. The rapture is coming, brothers and sisters. And so, with that, I'd like to close and tell you that our next meeting might be in a year or on October 2nd. Lord bless.